السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أهلا بكم إلى هذه الحلقة من برنامج من الداخل عبر الميادين. معكم زينب الصفار. في الآونة الأخيرة خلال التظاهرات التي نظمتها حركة حياة السود مهمة عقب خنق جورج فلويد حتى الموت، تم التعبير عن الكثير من الغضب ضد العنصرية والظلم اللذين تواجههما الأقليات السوداء والعرقية في جميع أنحاء العالم. وعلى إثر ذاك تم تشويه وهدم وتهشيم العديد من النصب التذكارية والتماثيل لارتباطها بهذا التاريخ السقيم، وبينها تمثال المهاتما غاندي. ففي ساحة البرلمان في لندن تم تلطيخ تمثال غاندي بالطلاء الأبيض مع كتابة عبارة عنصري على إحدى الخطوات المؤدية إليه. أما في العاصمة الأمريكية واشنطن فكان الضرر أكبر مما اضطر المعنيين إلى تغطية التمثال. لعل غاندي خلال حياته عانى الكثير من حملات الشجب والتشويه، وامتد ذلك حتى بعد وفاته قبل 72 عاماً لم يتوقف الانتقاد. من جهة ثانية يرى المراقبون أن غاندي القائد التاريخي الذي ألهم حركات التحرر والحقوق المدنية في جميع أنحاء العالم لو كان على قيد الحياة اليوم لكان من أول المشاركين في احتجاجات الشباب اليافع في انتفاضة حياة السود مهمة، ولا سيما أن الظلم الذي عانى منه المجتمع الأمريكي الأفريقي من حرمان اقتصادي وسياسي طوال 400 عام الماضية هو قصة مخزية. ولكن هل كان المهاتما عنصريا حقا؟ وعلى ماذا ارتكز هذا الهجوم والتصنيف ولماذا؟ وإذا ما نظرنا إلى الهند في مرآة الاحتجاجات الأمريكية نتيقن أنها تحتاج أيضا وبشكل عاجل إلى معالجة مشاكلها الصارخة من التمييز المنهجي ووحشية ممارسات الشرطة ضد مواطنيها. لتسليط الضوء على هذا الشأن من الداخل يطيب لنا أن نستقبل من مدينة مومباي في الهند السيد توشار غاندي السياسي الهندي وابن حفيد المهاتما غاندي. Mr. توشار Gandhi from the city of Mumbai in India, great-grandson of the Mahatma Gandhi and managing trustee of the Mahatma Gandhi Foundation. Welcome to من الداخل from the inside, sir.
Assalamu alaikum to all of you. Thank you very much.
وعليكم السلام. Pure pleasure to have you, sir. Well, recently during the Black Lives Matter demonstrations over the death of George Floyd, a lot of rage was expressed against racism and injustice faced by black and ethnic minorities across the world. Many monuments and statues were defaced, pulled down, or damaged. Among them was the statue of the Mahatma Gandhi. Why was Gandhi's statue vandalized in the US protest and elsewhere? What could be the reason, Mr. توشار, and was the Mahatma Gandhi a racist?
The allegation against him is that he was racist and that he was not bothered about the plight of the African natives in Africa while he was fighting only for Indians. And so a lot of misinformation has been spread on this, and a bunch of people believed that he was racist. The fact is that Gandhi was never racist. In the beginning of his life, when his worldview was very limited and his experiences were he had not matured enough as a leader. In South Africa, he used terms which were at that time quite normal terms used by everybody for the native Africans. He used the same kind of terms which now we have realized were derogatory and hateful terms.
Exactly.
And because of that, he is dubbed as racist. But the fact is that he was racially naive. One must understand that, we revere Mahatma Gandhi, but Gandhi was an ordinary man who
exactly. And
learned
at the beginning of his life, maybe he made some mistakes or some errors when it comes to how he used certain kind of terms, like, this was referred to, I guess, in one of the books called The South African Gandhi, I believe, and
yes.
He used the terms of quote, savage or any other term.
Yes.
Perhaps this was the reference.
that was a reference, and he did use those terms, and there is no denying that. I think if he was there, he would have apologized profusely for using these terms. We must understand that Gandhi grew up in a small town in India with no world influence. He grew up in a family which was very orthodox and very, they practiced all the Hindu practices of untouchability and segregation and everything. And he grew up in that kind of a family. His only exposure to world view and to other races was when he went to England to become a lawyer.
Yes.
And at that time in Victorian England, native Africans were referred to as savages and Kafirs and those kind of derogatory terms. So it's very natural that Gandhi would have picked up those terms without realizing
the negative effect later on of such kind of terms. But observers, Mr. Gandhi, they ask, was it part, you know, this vandalization of the statue of Gandhi, was it part of a series of attacks against the statues of Gandhi, whether in Ghana and other countries, done by people who are aware of Gandhi's perhaps racist comments, as I said, which was referred to in the book, The South African Gandhi Against Black Africans, during his stay in South Africa, and his position also on caste in India? Or was it done by people who wanted to express their disgust at the Indian Prime Minister Modi and his great demonstrations of love for US President Trump? I mean, the question that rings also a big bell, isn't this a massive distraction from the Black Lives Matter movement? Was not Gandhi part and parcel of creating a movement in the same way that Martin Luther King created a movement?
Yes, and people who question and allege that Gandhi was a racist leader are also insinuating that Dr. Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela were naive. They did not realize Gandhi was racist, and so they worshipped him and idolized him and adopted his methodology. Just to give the example of the Reverend Martin Luther King, he sent his people when they decided to fight for civil rights in the US. He sent his people to Gandhi's ashrams in India to get training in passive resistance and civil disobedience. And they were given that training. If Gandhi was a racist, why would he have helped to formulate the strategy of the passive resistance and civil rights movements in the US, led by Dr. Martin Luther King? So I don't agree. I fully accept the charge that in the beginning of his life and his public life initially, he was naive and he did make mistakes in terms. But what you say could also be right, that the anger is focused against Trump, because in the presidency of Trump, racism has become an accepted kind of ideology in the US. It looks as if it's patronized because the amount of hate that Trump generates, and Modi's closeness to Trump also goes to do that. But I think there has been a very vicious and very motivated campaign to slander Gandhi, and that has also led to this anger. I believe that the anger is out of ignorance.
Right.
But having said that, I stand with people who want to destroy his statues. I, for one, don't believe in statues and things. I don't think, worshipping statues shows that we worship the man. I would rather that his ideals are worshipped.
I do agree with you that we are against statues and raising statues to be worshipped by people and so on and so forth. But, it was not only, destroying or vandalizing the statue, but it was, writing certain kind of expressions like racist under the statue. This is something that hurts a lot. We needed to understand, was Gandhi a racist or not? Allow me to ask you now, in the similar context, sir, Arundhati Roy, the Booker Prize-winning author, believes, and I'm quoting her here, that Indian racism towards black people is almost worse than white people's racism, unquote. Yet we see Indians trending today, Black Lives Matter hashtag, but in this very country we find continuous attacks on blacks. This is clearly manifested also even in Bollywood movies and productions. How do Indians see blacks, or what stereotype do Indians have of them?
Well, Indians are racist by culture, there's no doubt about it. We are a very racist culture, and it's ingrained in us because of the discriminatory caste system that we still practice, and it is so firmly entrenched. We believe in caste superiorities, and we believe that people who are below us in caste stature do not amount to being human beings, and so the Africans are also treated with the same kind of disdain as for centuries we have been treating those that we have branded as untouchables. So it's not an unfounded allegation that Indians are very color conscious, and by being that way, in turn, we are also extremely racist people.
Right. Allow us, Mr. توشار, Gandhi, to stop now for a short break, and then afterwards we're going to talk a bit more about certain kind of brutal practices and so on, racist practices of the police in India today. But after the break, إذا فاصل قصير ونعود. لا تذهبوا بعيدا. أهلا بكم من جديد. توشار Gandhi, great grandson of the Mahatma Gandhi. Welcome back, sir. Well, looking at India in the mirror of American protests makes clear that India too needs urgently to address its glaring problems of systematic discrimination and police rampant brutality, the targets of which are largely Muslim and low-caste men. Do you believe, sir, that the American protests underscore that it is time for India to talk seriously about its own police problem when it comes to brutality and the Islamophobic and casteist attitudes?
Unfortunately, the allegations cannot be denied. We have to accept those allegations, and we have to focus. It's not just the police brutalities and things. As a society, the venom of religious intolerance and Islamophobia have been very systematically instilled in it, and they have, like under Trump in the US, the prejudices in that society has riven it. The prejudices have been very systematically imbibed into the Indian society, and so unfortunately society in general has become very Islamophobic and
casteist,
apathetic towards Muslims, and we have always been casteist. As I said in the beginning, we don't treat our those who we still treat as untouchables. We don't even consider them to be humans, and so we don't behave with them in a human manner. Just today I was reading, there was a survey, and in that they came to a very startling finding that the Brahmins, the top caste in India, more than 70% of the Brahmins still today practice the prejudicial practice of untouchability, where they will not touch a person who is considered to be of a lower caste.
Lower caste.
This is in today's society. And so, yes, there is a very big, great need, because this nation cannot be theocratically singular. We, for centuries, have been a nation which is an amalgamation of religions and races. And we must accept that and move on. We cannot now decide that we are going to undo that and unravel it, because if we try to do that, and God forbid if we are successful in doing that, we will cease to exist as a nation and as a society. And so for self-preservation itself, it is very essential that we go back to our roots, which were inclusive, and that is where the Hindu lifestyle assimilated all the other religious practices and religious groups that came into India and settled down in India, and we became richer. Our culture became richer, our civilization became richer.
But this is also talked about in the Constitution, Mr. Gandhi, but it seems that the Constitution is not being respected or implemented in today's India.
Well, unfortunately, the government of the day has never, the ideology that it comes from has never accepted
the RSS, true.
The RSS has never accepted the Constitution of India, and so they have never respected it, and they have tried their best. Their hidden agenda, and now not that hidden, is to abrogate the Constitution and replace it with something that is much more convenient to them, which is much more Hinduized.
True. And also, some of the racist attitudes of this current government is that there is a kind of blackout of what is really going on in India. I mean, when they put the CAA law on the table, those who have taken to the streets in opposition to these new discriminatory laws, which is the India Citizenship Amendment Act, CAA, and the imposed National Register of Citizens, NRC, include many Hindus who have shown solidarity with their fellow Muslim citizens. Unfortunately, the media has depicted this conflict as founded solely on religious grounds to promote a Hindu nationalist supremacist agenda. Mr. Gandhi, are you worried about hatred inculcated in society over anti-CAA protests?
It is a very worrying situation, because, as I said, anything that leads to polarization begins the process of unraveling of this nation. And as a patriot and a person who loves his motherland, I would be very worried by the symptoms of this critical ailment that the people are seemingly afflicted with, whether it is the class conflict or it is the conflict of religions, or it is the caste conflict. These are all the symptoms of a civilization in the process of disintegrating. And so we have to be very worried, and we have to work for it. But being a believer in Gandhi, I never give up hope. I am always an optimist, and I know that even a single voice raised against this matters. And so I believe that, and now in the global perspective also, it is very essential that we all work to reduce hate. We have become so practiced to responding to hate with hate. And we have forgotten that hate responded by hate only increases the hate.
Exactly, exacerbate that hatred. Exactly.
And not make it go away. We have to learn to love again. We have to learn to love each other and spread love. Even when it is responded by hate, we cannot give up. We have to work for it. That is where I have been repeatedly telling the people who want to get rid of Gandhi's statues that sure, get rid of the statue. If you want, even I will stand and help in demolishing that statue. But after we remove that statue, can we all get together and start working to reduce the hate in our society, in our humankind, and promote love, promote understanding, promote respect for each other,
and tolerance,
and promote to equality. I don't believe in tolerance, because tolerance means you get irritated by somebody, but you just don't respond because you are tolerant. I want us to respect our differences. We are always going to be different.
Exactly.
You are going to be different than me. If I only tolerate your difference, then one fine day it will be irritating to me. But if I respect your right to be different, then out of that respect, love will grow.
Right.
And we will learn to live with each other. And so my message to this movement is, please don't respond to the hatred of the racist with hatred yourself. Let's learn to love.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Sure.
Love to the racists.
To our children and the generation to come. Now, there seems to be, and I would like to come back to the issue of the Mahatma Gandhi, there seems to be a campaign against the legacy of the Mahatma Gandhi and against yourself, sir. توشار, recently you accused the government of removing the photos of Gandhi's body taken just after his assassination in 1948 from a display in one of the museums.
In the museum is dedicated to
the father of the nation, yes. In a tweet you said, whether India changes or not, an attempt to change history was being made. Also last February, you stated that a Hindutva body forced a college in Pune to cancel your scheduled address as part of a seminar on Mahatma Gandhi due to, quote, unavoidable issues. The college authorities said that although the seminar continued as per its schedule, your address was cancelled. Why?
Yes, because they don't like to listen to the truth. I don't mince my words, and so it is very India now. The new India of Modi does not respect truth. They don't want to hear truth, and so they want to oppress the truth and muffle it as much and muzzle it as much as possible. And that is where you see what they are doing. You mentioned the anti-CAA protest and the persecution of the protesters. That is a sign of how this government and society now responds to dissent in India. And in a democracy, dissent is an equal right of a citizen. If they feel that the government is not doing right, then it is the duty and the right of citizens to dissent with it and show their displeasure and oppose it. And if a government cannot respect that, then that is where they start muffling voices and silencing them and ensuring that those voices are not heard.
Exactly. From the city of Mumbai in India, توشار Gandhi, Indian politician and great-grandson of the Mahatma Gandhi, thank you very much, sir, for your valuable insights.
Thank you very much, and Khuda Hafiz to everybody.
Thank you, thank you. Always welcome, sir. والشكر لكم مشاهدينا الكرام على طيب المتابعة. للتفاعل أكثر تابعونا على صفحات السوشيال ميديا من كل فريق عمل برنامج من كل الميادين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.